Hello everyone and welcome to HeMakesMePlay. I am Marius and I'm blind, I can't see, and so I make other people play video games. And also I have to say Happy New Year to everyone. This is the first stream with me and of course my friend Vincent, who is here, who I make play video games. Hello Vincent.
Hello Marius.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you as well. We actually haven't seen each other before Vincent appeared in the studio.
Yes, like a demon, Marius summoned me and now I'm here.
It's true, I conjured a Vincent. I threw my Pokeball and a Vincent appeared. But yeah, it's the first time for this year and I'm excited. We'll probably play Baldur's Gate again today, but we've decided to change things up a little bit for the new year, and so we figured out we might start the stream at least this time, maybe other times as well, with a little bit of a chat. Just want to talk about games and nerd stuff for a little
Don
bit.
Solarione, hello guys.
Hey!
Nice to see you, it's been so long.
I know, I
Yes.
honestly missed you. I missed you and your wise comments and counsel and non-spoilery help. you
Chaotisoyo.
offer.
Hello guys, a very happy
Hey.
2024 to you both. Hope the year
Yes.
is treating you well. Any New Year's resolutions?
Oh boy, so many questions. That's a good question. Let me pass it on to Vincent. Hello, Vincent. Do you have a New Year's resolution?
Well, I do want to work on my weight, which
Nice.
is
The classic,
a
right?
classic, especially after the holidays. But apart from that,
Oh yeah. Also, I got fat over the holidays, and I just let it happen too.
me too.
I
It's
gave up.
terrible, but you know.
Yeah, but I mean, good as well. It's fine, but yeah. Anyway, happy New Year to you guys as well. I'm so glad to have you with us again.
But what about your New Year's?
Yeah, you
resolution?
totally called me out on this. I don't really have,
can't get away.
I don't really have any because like it's not something I usually do because I guess I did it too often and it never comes to pass. But just be more consistent, I guess, would be the thing. But I do that all the time anyway. Be more consistent about stuff that's good for me, like working out and eating right, sleeping right, all the usual shit that's like really boring and embarrassing, but absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
Just be more consistent about that, and just without like. I don't know, just without being too hard on myself as well, right? That's why I guess I'm not a fan of the New Year's resolution stuff, because it's always so big and then you inevitably fail. Like I know it's maybe a bit cringe, but it's this thing, right, where you just compare yourself to yourself 1 week ago, and if you're better than that, then that's a good resolution.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't
Small incremental changes.
I don't know about you, but I always have this problem with if I have goals for myself and then I tell other people these goals.
Yes.
For some reason, I then immediately fail
Yes.
the stuff.
That's a real thing. Like there's like science about this. Like I can't quote any like papers or whatever, but I've read about it on Reddit, I guess. Where so what happens is you have plans for stuff, right? And while you're working towards the goal, there's like this inner promise of like a dopamine kick, like some kind of reward. Feeling good that you will get when you reach that goal. But what happens is that when you tell other people about that goal, you get sort of a simulacrum version of that dopamine kick at that moment, right? And then I guess the idea is that sort of goal-oriented mechanism is then short-circuited because, well, you already got what you were working for. And so I don't know if that's actually true for everyone and how like valid the science is, but it's definitely true for me. Like I've observed this in myself. That's
Yeah.
why I started no longer
as
telling people about my plans. Like if you want to learn French or whatever, I don't know why you would, but like if you sorry
Because you
French
like
people,
language? I don't know.
yeah, I guess there are reasons. But if you do, then just don't tell other people. So don't
Until
do
you can tell them in French.
we.
We.
Yes, I'm so lame. I could not think of any other French term. Sacre bleu or whatever. I don't know. Camembert. It's random. Yeah, this is what people tune in for, Vincent. Random French stuff. So yeah, but as I was saying earlier, like this is a thing we're gonna be trying out. I hope people are into this. Like we'll be at the start of the stream. We'll be talking a little bit. I don't know how long. Maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. Whatever. It depends on if it's interesting. And then afterwards, we'll play Baldur's Gate, right, Vincent? That's the plan for today.
That is the plan.
Because we do have stuff to do, but it really fits now because like I make this joke sort of that like I see Vincent right now, he appears, but that's sort of real. Like I don't, especially now with like New Year's and stuff, we didn't have that much time to talk, and we do usually pretty much every time we see each other we just completely nerd out about stuff we enjoy, and often that's games and stuff. And I do feel like there's a little bit of catching up to do. I definitely have one thing I want to talk to you about, Vincent.
Okay.
Do you have anything on your mind?
I do.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if it's the same thing. I bet it's the same thing.
Probably
But
not.
do so I haven't been totally keeping up. Has there been any like relevant game news over the New Year's and stuff? Something that I've totally missed.
I haven't really watched out for that.
Yeah, it seemed like
but
it was a bit slow after the whole cool Game Awards stuff.
Yeah. The only thing that I read recently was that apparently subscription models are not as successful as last year, or I guess
Oh,
the
like
year
Game
before.
Pass or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. And I wonder
Do they
how
publish numbers for that? Like how many people are subscribed?
Don't think so. And also,
Okay.
this is like the headline I read. I didn't read anything further.
All right.
But yeah,
I
It
wonder
made
why.
me think
I
if-
think it's Starfield. They all played Starfield. I'm sorry.
maybe. And
'Cause is that on
Baldur's
Game
Gate
Pass?
3 as well, right?
Is that on Game Pass though?
Neither is. I
Neither.
think.
Okay. I take it back.
So yeah, maybe that's the reason that both games, or these two really big games, were not on Game Pass.
Right.
And
That makes sense. Though. A lot of people played either of those games.
yeah. Also, I
Is Alan Wake on Game Pass?
don't think so, but I'm not sure.
All right.
I also something that surprised me, just purely number-wise. The amount of people that played Hogwarts Legacy is like 4 times bigger than the people that played Baldur's Gate 3.
That's a huge silent majority, I'm sure. Because like, let's face it. Like, I wish it wasn't this way, but like Harry Potter has way more clout
Yeah.
with the general population than fucking Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, and it's so easy to sell, hey, you can be a wizard in this game. That's it. That's the game.
That's true. Even if you
And-
don't know Harry Potter, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
And it looked beautiful, right?
Explaining to somebody what Baldur's Gate is a little bit more complicated.
So there are these guys called Illithid, right? And they have a spaceship. Didn't you say it's fantasy? Yeah, wait, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we're not at the fantasy part yet.
So I need to tell you about the Dead 3 now. Listen up. Yeah, it's a tough sell. But then
Also,
you
you're
have
not
like...
playing one character, you're playing potentially 8 or something.
Okay, look, forget about it. You can have sex with a bear. You want to play?
That is a good selling point, yes.
Yeah, it really was, right?
Yes, I think so.
What a brilliant decision to show that
A
before
very
releasing the
specific
game.
but very
Yeah.
powerful crowd.
But Hogwarts is kind of weird because it's. I've heard a lot about it when it came out, and I have friends who were really into it for a brief period, and then nothing. Like I
Yeah.
just did not hear them talk about it anymore.
From what I've seen people play, and I've read a little bit about it, and I think the problem is mostly that the gameplay is good, but over
Is it though?
few hours it becomes rather bland.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I heard stuff like the puzzles are super easy and stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess even if you sold it's just this is Hogwarts walking simulator, people would be into it. So
Probably, yeah, but not
I
for,
don't know.
40, 50 hours, right? It's just, at
Yeah.
some point, you have
how
enough.
deep are you invested in this
Exactly,
fantasy?
yeah. But I
Yeah.
can totally see people just being absolutely happy in that world
Yeah.
for any amount of time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Makes absolute sense to me that that reach way more people than Baldur's Gate and stuff because, well, people have no taste. That's just how it is.
Right.
Yeah.
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 So what did you want to talk about?
I want to talk to you about fucking Rogue Trader. Tell me
Ah,
about
okay.
Rogue Trader. Have you played it, Vincent?
I have not.
Have you purposely been abstinent from
I
it?
have. And
Yeah.
it has been hard.
So it is a game you want to play, right?
Absolutely.
But that's very nice. I thank you very much because I also really want to play it. Because I've tried, just like with Baldur's Gate, I try not to spoil myself and stuff, and I didn't like look up really anything about it. But I've heard brief bits of conversation about it by sort of online people, influencers, you might say, and they have influenced my opinion in the positive direction. I heard specifically that the writing is good, and that has me very excited. And that it's good, you've probably heard the same thing, right? That the writing in Rogue Trader is good in a specific way. In the sense that, yeah, we can all agree that writing is really, really good and raised the bar in Baldur's Gate 3, right? But it's also, you might say, although that sounds too negative, I don't mean it that way, but it is a bit formulaic. Or at least it's very much tailored to this sort of dialogue situation. And even there, they sort of keep to the same schema, sort of, right? Where you get a situation, a couple options, and they never do this thing like the Disco Elysium does, right? Where you can click through all the options. It's always...
Hello. Sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, chatbots, etc. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the...
Thank you.
Thank you, but no thank you.
Not interested.
Yeah. But so what I was saying is that the writing in Baldur's Gate 3 is good. It's probably...
Don Solarione, what a way to start 2024.
I know. Believe it or not, I missed those people too, in a way. And actually, he sort of had a point. It was probably good to interrupt my arduous point that I was making.
Same as it ever was.
Yeah, I know. But, things are changing. Maybe one day we'll find a way to filter that stuff out. I don't know.
Well,
or I'll be quicker on the shut up button.
For some reason, I do have a shut up button in the Firebot set up, but
I pushed it. Did you hear? It also interrupted him, but way too late. It's the end button.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So yeah, we just have to be quicker. We're a bit rusty. We have to get back into our extremely. Yeah. Anyway, so BG3 is good, but here's my point. From what I heard, at least, Rogue Trader is also good, but in a different way, where they have long paragraphs, and it's really a writer's writing. Do you know what I mean by that? It's just a bit more, or at least what I'm expecting. I don't even know if this is true, but what I'm expecting is that it's I don't know, it might be a bit more purple, as in purple prose, right? So they're a bit leaning more into sort of flowery descriptions and stuff. I might be completely off base on this. This is my interpretation of what I heard. Or going into the political system of the sort of Warhammer world and stuff, and in the factions and the Chaos Gods, and of course, I'm totally here for Warhammer lore, right? So I want them to do that.
Yeah, just because we haven't really said it, in case anyone doesn't know what Rogue Trader is, it's the newest game by Owlcat.
Yeah, it's the newest in the Harry Potter franchise.
No, it's not. No, it's.
But it is an Owlcat game, famously of Pathfinder Kingmaker, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous, two other enormous CRPGs set in the Pathfinder world and system. And Rogue Trader is their newest game, and it's set in the Warhammer 40k universe. Also a CRPG.
Yeah.
Which I don't. Has that ever been done for Warhammer?
For Warhammer, that's a good question. I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
Games that have been. Here's a game this is sort of an in-joke between me and Vincent, because Vincent refused to play this game with me. But they have had an XCOM style game, Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate. Where it's like a tactical squad shooter. But turn-based and with an isometric view, like XCOM. I played that as a kid and didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But that might be the closest thing to that, right? And so that's sort of what I want to talk to you about. This whole premise of a Warhammer 40k game as a CRPG is still a bit weird to me. I want to see if it works.
I'm really curious about the writing, actually, because I have basically not watched anything. I haven't watched anybody playing it or watched any gameplay or anything of the game.
Very good.
No, very little, I should
Perfectly absent.
But I have played Kingmaker and a good, 50 hours or so of Wrath of the Righteous.
And we occasionally mention it, I think, in the Baldur's Gate streams.
And for both these games, Owlcat basically took existing stories in the Pathfinder universe.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, definitely. They took existing campaigns, basically.
Oh, like tabletop campaigns that were published as books.
Yeah,
probably by Piezo, right? As the Pathfinder company.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
And turned them into CRPGs.
Wow, I never knew that.
I haven't read the actual tabletop adventure, so I don't know how closely they follow the story.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder, did they do the same thing with the Warhammer game? Or did they create something completely new?
So I'm sorry to say this, but a part of me doubts that there are high quality Warhammer campaigns out there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave a comment with your favorite Warhammer 40k RPG campaign. I'm glad to be proven wrong, but that's sort of also what I was getting towards, right? So the Pathfinder games, like I haven't played them. I've heard quite a lot about them from you, like mostly from you, but they're quite beloved. But they're also sort of they're a bit more extreme than Baldur's Gate. Do you know what I mean? Would you agree? Like for a more extreme crowd, like Baldur's Gate with the bear sex and the way it's made and stuff, it has mass appeal, right? The Pathfinder games, first of all, Pathfinder RPG itself is very intense, known to be very number crunchy and stuff, and those games sort of reflect that ethos, and they attract the same kind of crowd, I would say. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely.
So I'm glad we're on the same page with that. But the thing with Warhammer is, like, it also attracts an intense crowd, but in a different way. Do you know what I mean? I don't associate Warhammer with the number crunchy stuff very much. And it's also, hilariously, there are, like, Warhammer 40k RPGs, but I don't hear very much about them. And do you remember this? Like, I used to watch an RPG show way back in the day called, I think it was Dark Crusade, right?
Yeah.
DM'd
With
by
Total Biscuit
Stephen Lumpkin, and was Total Biscuit in that?
Total Biscuit was in...
And DJ Wheat, right?
DJ Wheat, JP, and who was the fourth one? Oh, Jeff, probably.
Yeah, probably. What's his name? Jeff. God bless his heart.
Jeff In Control Robinson.
There you go. Thank you. Yes.
For some reason, I couldn't think of the last name.
I know, but forever will he be remembered by the Emperor, now deceased. But yeah, so if you want to... yeah, whatever. If you want to check that out, you can Google it. Like, I guess, Roleplay Dark Crusade. ROLL play. And you can watch a really old RPG show if you're into that. But it's a good example, actually, and this is what I'm getting at. Warhammer is hard to make into a story. Do you agree? Hot take.
What is up, guys?
Sorry, I just...
That's it.
Looked
that was
the
JP.
Video, yeah.
Right, I forget we can do
Dark
that.
Heresy.
Oh, not Dark Crusade. Okay, there you go. Dark Heresy. Much better.
That was a long time ago.
I know.
Like the camera quality is rough, I would say.
Everything is rough, but it's a really, like, Steven is a good DM, and he makes a good story out of it. I don't believe it's a sort of pre-existing campaign. He just makes shit up. It works, but it's kind of tough. Do you know what I mean? Because the entire Warhammer 40k universe, as I understand it, is designed to facilitate constant war. War is eternal, like all that stuff between all these like various and diverse factions, right? The Space Marines and Chaos Marines and the Tau and the Necrons, like countless factions. But it's all because it's about war, and like Games Workshop, they want to sell you big armies and stuff, which is cool. I have nothing against that. It's always about it's a very zoomed out view on events, right? It's about chapters of Space Marines and like hive planets and like Inquisitors calling an exterminators on a planet and like Tyranids showing up in masses and stuff. But like, you know, what I always say, specificity is the soul of narrative. And to have a cool RPG experience, you kind of need to focus in on individual characters, right? It's what I'm thinking. And that's my question is that possible with Warhammer 40k?
I do wonder because I should really at some point read some more.
Read one of the
40K.
fucking okay.
But
oh boy,
I know about, for example, the War of Armageddon. Armageddon is a world, and that is like the orcs are attacking this world, and specifically the story is about a single city that is protected by a single chapter of Space Marines.
Yeah,
and in that case, the story is very much about a few specific characters from that chapter.
Right.
For example, Grimaldus, the what is his rank? I don't know. The
Primarch of the chapter.
No, he's not a
I know
Primarch.
Warhammer.
Yeah, he is a Space Marine, but he's like their cleric basically.
Ah,
Something
okay.
like that.
That probably has a cool name as well. But I don't know.
He also they are marked by wearing a specific helm that is.
With like a cross cut out for the visor.
No, they are wearing a helmet that is skull.
Of course. That was my second guess. Yes. Our beloved religious
Very
space
nice.
fascists.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
But yeah, in that case, they manage it quite well because they have this huge narrative that is happening all over the planet, and it's like exterminators is a possibility and all that stuff. But really, the story is focused on a few individuals.
Right. That's a very good point, Vince, because you are, of course, correct. There's like a lot of precedent for individuals in Warhammer, right? Because Games Workshop, they also know that specificity is the soul of narrative, and they have like always, championed, if you will, sort of characters, even in their rules writing, right? They always had this. I used to read this as a kid. Probably told that story before, but when I was like 8 or 10 years old, like I was in a toy store and I just saw these cool Space Marines and I wanted to buy that stuff, and my parents did buy it for me, and it was just a Warhammer starter box and I didn't know what the fuck it was, but I had this big like A3 format book that was the rules book, right? And for some reason I managed to completely skip any of the rules that made no sense to me. I have no recollection of it at all, but it had like cool pictures of like Nurgle demons and like ladies with needle teeth and all kinds of morbid shit that I really like was into for some reason. I guess that's just how kids are.
Yeah,
makes sense. And it had a bunch of fluff text, right? And I devoured that fluff text. I would read this rule book over and over again just to read a little text box that some writer dude at Games Workshop had put in there, talking about the Emperor's Iron Throne or whatever, and how he's like put in there after the Horus Heresy, and how they have to sacrifice psychers to keep his soul going and all that stuff. And I loved it. And in there, they always, were focused on various individuals, right? So there's precedent for that. But still, though, I feel a whole telling stories is okay. Let me. I keep rephrasing that.
Yes.
Telling varied kinds of stories and the kinds of stories that I am normally interested in Warhammer 40K might be difficult. I realize that's an awfully specific statement, but do you know what I mean?
I know absolutely what you mean, because
it's gonna be a story about resisting orcs or whatever.
Basically, yeah. I thought about actually doing like a mini campaign in the Warhammer 40K universe with our usual tabletop group.
Oh, nice. With one of the... I think Dark Heresy is one of the systems, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What I found very interesting is that they have one system, but then multiple rule books depending on what you want to experience in that world. So there is... so you can play in that same system, you can play a Space Marine and a party of Space Marines, and that is one book. Or if you want a different experience, you can buy the Imperial Guard, for example, rule book.
Yeah, if you want to get fucked.
Yes, basically. And it's just, it's the same base rules, but then they have different modifiers for how the game interacts with the players, basically. Okay, for example, I don't know the specifics, but I would imagine, hey, if you play an Imperial Guard, maybe there's an option to quickly change characters.
Yeah, probably. You play a roster of characters. That would be my choice. But that makes sense. There's some. I think it's cool that they do it that way, and there's some precedent for that, right? It's just like splat books from Wizards,
Yeah.
Kind of, right? You have the D&D. Do they have Spelljammer for 5? I don't know, but in any edition, whatever, you have the base book, Player's Handbook, and then they publish like Spelljammer or whatever, and then hey, here you go, rules for fantasy spaceships and spaceship combat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, and it makes sense to do it for Warhammer. Although I now wonder, do they let you RP as a Tyrannid or a Chaos Marine and stuff?
I think Chaos is definitely a faction there.
That's
I don't know
awesome.
about the Tyranids.
That would be a bit weird, right?
Yeah,
That's like
no idea.
playing goblins or whatever. I don't know. Even goblins have more character than Tyranids.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't work. I was thinking of what's a D&D corollary.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can totally see your point. That as I said, I looked into how that would work.
Yeah.
And the best thing I came up with is some sort of city defense or like
Sure.
special forces mission. It always has to be about war. And if that
Yeah.
is all you can tell, it will get stale pretty quickly.
So
Which is also why this Dark Heresy is so special, because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
do something different in that case. They play Inquisitors or
Yeah.
people working for an Inquisitor.
I was gonna say they go for the one other option you have, which is to capitalize on the whole sort of chaos undermining the Empire angle and like infiltrating hive planets or even the minds of the Emperor's citizens. And that's what they go for. I think. I don't actually. Yeah, look at us really advertising this like 12-year-old RP thing online. But I'm not going to spoil what happens. But it's about like in the title, about heresy, right? They do some. There are people being uncovered who like do things that in the Empire are considered blasphemy.
Which is almost everything.
That's true, but it's actually fucked up what they're doing. It's
Yeah.
Like,
you
I
turned
also-
left when you were supposed to turn right.
Like-
Heresy!
it really it has great. There's a moment where the DM like just has. I'm going to tell you the story now. So there is a moment where the DM has a neutral NPC who is like a good character, like a scientist, Adeptus Mechanicus kind of guy. He is uncovering the blasphemy, like with Total Biscuit's character next to him. And Total Biscuit is so disturbed by this heretical act that is uncovered that he immediately executes the guy next to him. And with Stephen Lumpkin, the DM, even being like, okay, TB, do you want this guy to die? Because he's kind of struggling to, like, he doesn't want the guy to die, but TB is adamant about killing this guy because no one can live who has seen what he has seen, though.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
Possibility of chaos is ever present.
That's the other thing, though, that beautifully leads to the other point. So the story, like, the sort of what is the plot and what are the characters and stuff, that might be difficult, in my opinion, at least in a way where I enjoy it, for Rogue Trader, but also the tone of Warhammer. You know what I mean? That's also, like, might be a bit weird.
The famous grim dark.
It's
tone.
very grimdark. It's very much this whole yeah, we're really into fascism here, you know? It is that. Like, that's
Yes.
totally what they're doing, and it makes sense in this universe. I'm not against this universe, right? It's a fictional thing. But the Empire, they're like horrible. But the thing is always that everything in this universe is horrible, right?
Yeah.
And they're all awful, even the Tau. Or whatever faction you might think is cool. They're not actually cool, and I think Games Workshop has put a lot of work into making them not cool in some way, right?
Yeah.
So no one is a hero, everyone is awful. And like, does the tone just sort of, I don't know, is it too depressing after a while? Is it too samey? Is it appealing tone-wise? You know what I mean? How do you feel?
Yeah. I don't know. The little bits of Rogue Trader I've seen seemed surprisingly light in tone. Just
Yeah.
from going by the color scheme, for example. It's just
Oh, weird how they put all these rainbows in there. Really took a page out of the Diablo 3 playbook, huh?
yeah. No, I mean, it's not that bad, but it's just for a world where death and corruption
Yeah.
and
I didn't know there was a My Little Pony faction. Yeah, sorry.
but but where that is always and ever present, it seemed surprisingly fantastical almost.
Right.
But again, I haven't seen a lot, and I
Interesting.
trust Owlcat that they would create an environment that we wouldn't want to be living in, but that we
Sure.
would enjoy experiencing
Yeah.
through these characters.
Of course. And yeah, I mean, I'm sort of being sort of too negative that I don't mean to come off that way. I'm actually very excited about this, and I just want to see how they did it. And from what I hear, it might be really good.
Yeah. Also, I will say, so I really enjoyed Kingmaker.
Yeah.
And
That was the first one, right?
that was the first
Yeah.
one, yes, where you become a baron and you have to govern over a city and then a state and so on.
Yes.
and the-
That's the part of the game that at least many other people whose opinions I read, they're not so hot about. They could do without, let's put it that way.
Yes, and
The
I
kingdom
understand why,
management.
but to me, once I figured out how to work around that, basically,
How to cancel that part of the game out, then you were fine with that.
not to cancel it out, but rather to work it in my existing idea of a CRPG.
Well, okay, that's right.
Once I figured out how to deal with the occurring problems of the city-state, it worked out really well, in my opinion.
It also, I mean, I really like that they did it, right? Because it goes way back. And yes, I do talk about classic D&D a lot, I know, but this is what is happening now. Because the same problem existed way back in the day, right? Even in the Dave Arneson original campaign, where they sort of invented D&D, the idea was you go into dungeons, you get treasure, you level up, but then eventually you need to sort of like protect the treasure. So it was assumed that you would build a castle somewhere to hide all the treasure in, and then you would be sort of a lord over the region, and then they would move on to sort of do realm play, right? And because they were war gamers, and they would bring out their armies then. But of course, what happened, and that is so ironic because it mirrors the Pathfinder situation. Sort of people eventually sort of sneakily try to stop leveling up, being like, oh, I don't actually want that treasure stuff, just because the dungeon exploring part is actually more fun than the kingdom management part,
Yeah.
or the wargaming part. And
Well,
yeah, that's sort of what's happening in Pathfinder, I guess.
Yeah, in Kingmaker, again, it kind of worked. For
Although
me, but
you don't do wargaming there, right? There's no armies that you're fielding.
no, you
Okay.
don't.
It's literally just managing.
It is literally just managing. But the way they combine these events that happen to your kingdom,
Yeah.
and then they make that, or they choose that as a reason for your character to go out and do quests and stuff like that.
Right.
And they also combine it with, I think we've talked about this before, right? Talked about this before. But I can definitely see the beginning in Pillars of Eternity 1 and the struggle with rests these games have, just like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And
The eternal problem.
yes, and they have been basically since Pillars of Eternity 1, they have been struggling with that and trying to evolve that.
Isn't Pathfinder better about that stuff, though?
Yeah, Kingmaker is better because they tried really hard to make time a very, very important factor in all this. So you can rest basically anytime you want, but then a day passes.
Okay.
And
That
then-
interacts with your kingdom management
exactly.
as well.
And at some point it becomes easier because you have, once you figure out how to manage the kingdom, you can work around that. But in the beginning especially, it puts huge pressure on you to not rest, which
Right.
I love.
Yeah, that's a good solution.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the thing I hear about Pathfinder, right? People say it's very crunchy, not for everyone because of that. But also, especially for Pathfinder 2, I hear people saying a lot that it's actually very good. Like if you are willing to deal with the crunch, the crunch serves a purpose in the way that it does all the stuff sort of correctly that D&D 5 tries to do but doesn't quite do, as in sort of good balance of encounters and stuff. And you know, I will eternally be a proponent of just throwing balance out of the window, but I totally like if that's not the style of game you want. If you want carefully curated encounters that are like a cool sort of game challenge, that is well designed, then yeah, it's probably easier to do that as a DM in Pathfinder 2 than D&D 5.
Yeah.
And a bullshit challenge rating system that doesn't work. I said it.
I still think that Kingmaker is the best CRPG just from the
high praise, man.
Yeah, just
better than Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes, because
Jesus Christ.
Pathfinder works better as a CRPG than D&D 5 does. Even though, I mean, Baldur's Gate
apologize, everyone. I now have to execute Vincent for blasphemy.
Oh no. I have become part of chaos.
Yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted you, Vincent, for a dumb joke.
Yeah, no, it's just I really like the gameplay in Kingmaker, and the system worked extremely well and provided so many different and interesting challenges that you have to solve with the game mechanics. And it's just
so that's what you're hoping for Rogue Trader as well, right?
Yes.
Do you know anything about that? Did they just sort of adapt the Pathfinder system?
I don't think so.
So they came up with a totally new system?
I don't know if it's totally new, but from what little I've seen of character creation, for example, that looks different.
Right.
So, for example, they don't have a class system.
Okay.
From what I've seen, and I've seen.
I was looking forward to that, to just what do you want to play, like Space Marine or like Adeptus Mechanicus?
They sort of have that, basically.
Yeah, okay.
The thing is, though, that from what I've seen, that you can choose a background, for example, more like you would in Staff Without Numbers, where you
get some skills.
Exactly. You choose where you came from, what planet, and what your past occupation was. And then you choose what your current focus is, and you sort of evolve your character.
Right.
But you don't start with I am a Space Marine.
Yeah.
And this is what I do. And now let's see within this very strict character. Let's see what specialization they have. It's rather this is
good choice, not letting you start as a Space Marine, because then what do you have to work towards, right? It's like the KOTOR games where you don't start as a Jedi. It's gonna happen during the story, but because we know that's what you want to do, right? But if you just give that to people, then there's nothing to work towards. Like that dopamine stuff I was talking about earlier.
Yes, exactly.
It's exactly like that.
Yes. And the kick is huge. You finally get that laser sword.
That laser sword, yes.
But
it all sounds very promising.
Yeah.
Don't break my heart, Rogue Trader.
I will say, I also played Wrath of the Righteous, and I didn't play that all the way through, even though Wrath of the Righteous is kind of difficult because it has, for me, two problems. Right. One is you become pretty early on. You become a general.
Right.
Which is sort of as I understand it, they tried a different take on you are managing a kingdom, and in this case, you are managing a mobile army, basically.
Yeah, like
or multiple,
the Arneson stuff. You're doing wargaming now.
Yeah. And again, this is all based on, as far as I know, a Pathfinder adventure.
Yeah.
Where there's like this huge rift in the world, and there are demons spilling forth, and you have to protect and eventually probably close the rift, I would assume.
Right.
And yeah, you become the leading general of the forces of good or whatever.
What I always wanted in my life.
The problem is that is exactly not what I want as a D&D character or Pathfinder character.
I agree. Yeah. You want to go into cool dungeons, uncover mysteries, slay wizards.
Yeah, and that was problem number one. Just a huge clash in what I wanted from this type of game compared to what the game gave me.
See, that's what I would fear in Rogue Trader. Oh, you're the leader of this giant Space Marine chapter or whatever.
Yeah, and I am kind of worried about that, but I don't know if they do anything like that.
It doesn't sound like they do from what you said.
And the second thing that was a problem for me in Wrath of the Righteous was that there were so many encounters.
Right.
So many fights that I just became exhausted.
Right.
So there would be...
too much game, huh?
Yeah, basically, like if you play it all the way through, it's like 350
Yeah, it's
hours
super
of game.
long, right? Can you imagine us playing that? We would play it till we're like 50 years
Yeah,
old.
probably.
Yeah, because we're slow.
Yeah. So I don't know how many dozens of hours I spent in the tutorial, basically, just because they
Yeah.
kept throwing fights at me, and it a lot of these fights just felt like filler.
Right.
So yeah, sure. They would give you an interesting encounter, but then they gave you 3 more like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And at some point, you have solved the issue. It's just going through the motions.
They need some editing. Kill your babies.
Yes.
Owl cat.
I am worried that is an issue in Rogue Trader as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is. I have read some opinions that say it is. Don't know if
Okay.
that's true. But
I'd be willing to find out.
I'd be willing to find out, definitely, but I hope that's not an issue.
The other thing with this game, this is more of just a practical issue for us. It's not entirely voice acted, right? I hear it's partially voice acted, and the voice acting is quite good from what I hear, but there's also a large part of the game where it's just text. And I don't know if we can hope for a disco style absolution where they just come in and like voice act everything after releasing
Honestly,
it.
I don't think so.
No,
Like, it's so much work. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that Baldur's Gate actually did that.
oh yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's an insane amount of
But
voice
Vincent, now
lines.
every game has to do that because that's the new standard.
Uh-huh.
Now. That's what I expect
Of
as
course
a
you do.
consumer.
And I definitely don't, even just reading it without reading it out loud, right? Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous got to a point where it was a lot to just read through the dialogue because
and,
it's so much.
I mean, that is a big selling point though too as well. I mean, the voice acting, and like everything being voice acted because. From my experience, just sort of observing other people and how they interact with games, people really fucking hate reading, especially in games. even people who otherwise might read books, right, and enjoy reading, if you put them in front of a game, you know, it's an expectation thing, right? I've heard this once from a bartender that like taste. In food, yeah, here comes the story. Food, is very much, and taste and what you like is very much about expectations, right? I might enjoy vanilla ice cream. I might also enjoy pickles, right? To bite into and stuff. But if I bite into vanilla ice cream and it tastes like a pickle, I don't like it. Likewise, you might think it doesn't work the other way, but it does. If I bite into a pickle and for some reason it tastes like vanilla ice cream, that's also very disturbing, right? There's something wrong with that pickle. And so
That sounds like something Star Trek would make.
like from a replicator. Yeah, like
vanilla ice cream flavored pickle.
Troy makes like her ice cream pickle. Yeah, of course. Because she has that.
Of Rika standing with one foot on a chair.
Hey Diana, I brought the pickle. The usual. Vincent never watched Next Generation, right? You didn't.
I mean, not a lot. Just
Because that's a total thing. They have multiple, like, not the pickle stuff, but like Diana Troy, Counselor Troy, like sitting down with a big bowl of ice cream. It's like they always show it like this is her vice. This is her like emotional support ice cream and stuff. They do that a lot. So yeah, it's not out of nowhere that I make these
I didn't know that.
jokes. Yeah.
But yeah.
Where were we? Anyway, Rogue Trader. It's not voice acted. It's then you have to read everything. That's my problem.
Yeah. And
people hate reading,
yeah,
including us apparently.
I don't think they will voice act it just
No.
because it's so much. Even without the motion capturing, which is another insane thing Baldur's Gate did,
Yeah.
it's so much text to speak.
And Rogue Trader, just I don't actually know this. Like, is it? It's not like Baldur's Gate, right? Where it's like full 3D and like super cinematic. Is it more of a top-down classic CRPG?
Yes,
Perspective?
I believe in. Was it Kingmaker or was it both? It might have been both. Where you couldn't even turn the camera, and
Right.
I had to install mods to do that, for example.
Yes, that sounds very old school.
Yes. So
In Baldur's Gate 1, we didn't have a camera, and god damn it, we don't need one now.
Yeah.
What is this luxury equipment?
Exactly. Yeah. No, but that's definitely where you notice that Game Maker and Wrath of the Righteous are, despite being huge games, they put the budget towards making more story and not work on the camera angles, for example. Right? There were trade-offs.
And so there's no motion capture either.
No.
Yeah, okay.
There are no cutscenes or anything. There's no zooming in if you talk to somebody or anything. It's just
right.
I think I realized this recently that I talked about the character creation in Baldur's Gate 3 because I was frustrated about how little options there were.
Yeah, you didn't like it. Didn't like the 5 noses you can pick or whatever.
The thing is, because it's so well done, I compared it to a proper RPG character creation like Skyrim or Fallout or anything else like that.
I guess they give you options,
But
Cyberpunk.
If you compare it to Pathfinder, for example, in Pathfinder, I think you pick your hair color and the color of your outfit.
Yeah, like in Baldur's Gate 1, 2 colors.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess Baldur's Gate falls exactly in the middle between that. So it's.
And if you're a female gnome, well, I guess you just get the male model now because you were fucked and no one cares about gnomes. So that's Baldur's Gate.
Apologies to Baldur's Gate 3 for my criticism. I can see now my faults.
Look at Vincent getting wise.
I still think it could have been better.
It probably could have, yeah.
Yeah, but I can now see that, okay, compared to other CRPGs, it's very well done and rather extensive. But still.
Do you think that game developers will solve the voice acting problem with AI in the future?
Maybe.
Because we just did that, just to foreshadow this, because this will probably be a thing next week. Vincent and I, just before we started for 10 minutes, we played around a bit with like a little AI project that I had. And I was shocked by this, at like how good the text-to-speech AIs are by now. And it's really shocking. Even better than what we're using now, the Amazon Poly stuff and so on. At least better in some respects. But like even Amazon Poly, that's another example, right? And I think I've also read about that like it was part of the actors strike in Hollywood or whatever, like the rights for like AI voice acting in video games or whatever, but I don't remember any of the details.
I know that it was part of the writers' strike, that they didn't, that they basically said, you can't use AI creation or writing if you want to work with us. That's
right, and of course this whole you can't infinitely replicate our likeness with AIs, right? Did they actually get that through?
I have no idea, but probably.
It seems like a perfectly sane thing to demand, but in the world that is unfolding before us, it might be an impossible thing. I don't know. I don't know. I am sort of stumped by the technology.
I also can't imagine AI will be able to properly tackle really emotionally charged dialogue anytime soon.
Yeah, you would think that, and I would have agreed with you until I sort of played around with it. And I mean, yes, you can. There's still more nuance to a real actor, right? Don't get me wrong. But it's really fucking close, and the trajectory is so disturbingly fast. You know what I mean? It's like it's getting better fast. And it's just, I know people are hyping this and stuff, and it's like what people are talking about now, and I'm joining the hype train. But yeah, I mean, for a long time I sort of ignored it, and now I actually spent a couple weeks looking at it and like, you know, really delving into it, and I don't know, it's weirdly good.
Yeah, and it's
at being emotional.
It must be so tempting, right, for projects like Rogue Trader, if you have text for literally hundreds of hours of recording,
you can just do it automatically.
Yeah, exactly.
And with, like, you know, you get maybe a couple people, you give them a couple bucks, so you get a good voice sample, and then you just clone that voice forever, put some filters over it, then you have even more distinct voices. Yeah. And then you never have to hire a voice actor again.
I do wonder if it actually would improve the quality of the game, though. I mean, probably just because it's easier to listen to a voice than reading. But at the same time, I wonder.
Don
if it
Solarione,
just-
once, L saw a mod for Mount and Blade. They added so you can ask any character in the game a question, like ask a peasant for a road to the nearest city, and I would generate a proper answer. Potential is limitless.
That
Yeah.
sounds amazing. Did they
Uh-huh.
just add actual LLMs to Mount and Blade? Is that what Don Solarion is saying? And what an ambitious mod.
Yeah.
And what a
that's-
weird game to do that to.
Don Solarione, yes.
That's that's so cool. Yeah, that I'm totally into that. This is my new obsession, like LLMs and stuff, and what to do with games with them.
Yeah.
But Vincent, did you ever play Mount and Blade?
I did quite extensively.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we never actually talked about that. Because even back in the day when I could see, I did play that
Really? Okay.
briefly, and I didn't like it, and I put it down because
What?
I didn't
Okay.
understand anything of what was happening.
Oh, yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean?
I had that too, and then I picked it up
You stuck with
a
it.
month later, and then I played for 300 hours or something.
Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to bash it. I could see that it might have been a good game. It was too obtuse for me at that point in my life, I guess. I could figure out neither the overworld sort of strategy layer, where I guess you have some resources and you have to decide where to travel and stuff.
Yeah.
Neither that nor the actual combat where you're on a 3D map and
Totally.
you run around with your sword and just the controls and nothing worked. People on horses came at me and killed me and
Yeah.
stuff, and I
It's also
just sort of
the start of the game
twitched.
is so hard.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
Then I don't have
because
to feel so bad.
for one, I totally agree with you that the controls and the understanding the gameplay is difficult, but also you're basically a slightly better equipped peasant, and
Right.
there are armies of kings running around,
Yeah.
and you might end up fighting one of them. And if you feel hopeless and outnumbered and outgeared, then you
Huh.
are correct.
It's a true peasant experience.
Yeah,
It's probably what it was like.
and it takes a while until it gets better.
I could totally see that it might be really cool once you get the hang of it. And I do like it conceptually, I guess. But that's my point. What a weird game to add an LLM to, right?
Yes,
Or
but at the same time, no, because there is a very active modding community,
okay.
and some of these mods are huge. So I can
Really? What kind of stuff do they do?
Oh, they have like a complete overhaul for the diplomatic system, for example.
Okay.
They have content mods where the entire world is just changed to something different. Like I'm pretty sure you can
the
play-
total conversion.
Yeah, you can. I think
Middle
you can
Earth?
Play. I don't know if Middle Earth, but Westeros is a thing. I think.
Okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And
I'm
yeah.
into it now.
Yeah, of course.
Don Solarione, there is even a LOTR mod.
Okay.
There you go. Middle
yeah,
Earth
okay.
confirmed.
Uh-huh.
That yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, I
Maybe
never-
we should play that someday. Since you're so good at it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. It's fun.
Do they have like a D&D mod? Like
I
a
don't
Forgotten Realm? Yeah, whatever.
I never really got that into the mods. I just know
Right.
that there are
Yeah.
huge mods and elaborate and very deep changes you can make.
Okay, but then like, and this idea, of course,
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that elsewhere as well, right? That you could just also consider MMOs with like lots of NPCs and stuff all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
What if you no longer have to write dialogue for them? You just let an AI do it, right? And so it could be totally perfectly suited to the current situation you're in, right? And it could be totally awesome, but there are many more versions of this where I see it as a complete clusterfuck, where it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or you lose, imagine this, you're the developer and you completely lose control over all these different agents who like then start talking to players
Oh,
and
God.
they're like dynamically reacting to what's happening. And
But isn't that what you really want?
imagine they realize they're NPCs
Oh,
because of course
yes.
these bullshit players tell them and then they start a revolt and all. What do you do? Take the
Why
servers offline,
No.
restart them, so
Why
it
would you
like
do?
goes into a cycle like in the Matrix.
Just let it happen. That's the best part.
Yeah,
of
I
it,
know.
right?
I mean,
if the
Yeah.
game becomes self-aware, fuck yeah. You're printing money.
I mean, it's sort of more interesting than regular MMOs, right? Do you really want those AI NPCs to just be like, oh, hey, I am Grandma Orc, get me 8 assholes from boars so I can bake a pie, right?
That's a weird pie, but sure.
I mean, it's like MMO dialogues and NPC storylines haven't come much further than that, have they? Am I completely wrong? I'm probably totally wrong, right?
The thing is,
I'm making a fool of myself.
I don't think I have played the MMOs that actually have good dialogue. I only
Like the
play-
Final Fantasy MMO, is that's probably good,
I've heard
right?
good things, but
Yeah.
I haven't played it. And I know that when I play World of Warcraft, for example, I don't care about the story at all.
Right.
It's just,
You really, not even a little bit.
no.
Just the lore of the universe. I always thought that's kind of cool.
I mean, in a very general sense, like, yeah, sure,
Right.
I know who the Titans are and stuff like that, but
And like Frostmourne and
Do I-
Arthas.
do I care about the NPC that tells me to grab 12 bags of grain?
Right.
No.
All
And what
right.
his story is, I don't care.
Yeah.
And honestly, every time I did read it, it was sort of okay, but nothing to really wrestle with my emotions or anything. It's just, yeah, okay, T has a family and needs the grain to feed his family. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
but Vincent, what if you could go to that NPC and say, okay, I did it, I
Don
killed...
Solarione, I wonder how much time we have before AI streamers are a thing.
Oh my god, oh, okay. One thing at a time.
yeah, we don't do. This isn't even a job, and they're already stealing it. God damn.
Yeah, but the VTubers and stuff, okay,
Yeah.
I will say something about that, but let me finish the thought. What if, Vincent, you could go to an NPC and be like, oh, okay, I did it, I killed 20 orcs, and then the NPC would be like, well, as a large language model, I cannot condone killing and terminating of any kind.
Yeah, and then you can't even kill the NPC because that is against the rules.
Yeah, I'm of course making fun of the hilarious GPT filter and stuff. You'd have to find a way around it. You need-
Chaotic sounds really great for productivity's sake. I just can't quite shake the feeling that there's a somewhat soulless element to the idea. But I think I should wait and see how it unfurls because you just know this is going to be implemented at some point. It's simply a matter of time.
I do agree about the soulless.
yeah,
part,
I
though.
agree too.
It's just I feel like AIs are very good at creating content that is very okay, but
Yeah.
it hasn't so far at least reached any point where I would say, man, that's really good. And in that way, I can totally see it as like a language AI or voice AI working for a game like Rogue Trader, where you just have
You just read it out.
a narrator and
Yeah.
it just goes through all the text.
Yeah.
That works fine. But something like Baldur's Gate with the emotional gravitas
Yeah,
that
yeah.
has, I just don't think that would work.
And same thing for the writing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for an MMO, sure.
because the writing sucks anyway. But okay, I totally agree. Like that's also completely what I would doubt and what like I haven't seen yet. Exactly what you say as well, Vincent. Like right, it's like sort of decent. Okay, they get the grammar right and stuff, but it's sort of not high quality. Or like, didn't they have a while ago? They had an AI written episode of Seinfeld on Twitch or whatever, right? Am I making that up?
Yeah, no, you're correct. Just a continuous running Seinfeld show, basically.
So the stuff with that is always like, yeah, it's like good, but you would never watch it if it was just a Seinfeld episode, right? It's
Yeah,
only
it was-
because it's written by AI.
it was-
That's the appeal.
Awful.
Sure, but you watch it and you think like, oh, this is quite interesting because it's written by an AI. But if a human came to you and said, hey, here's my cool Seinfeld script, what do you think? You'd
This
be
is,
like, don't call us, we'll call you.
Yeah, this is a moment where you think, do I really want to be friends with that guy?
Yeah. It's like not good, right? But so the one thing is, I think they're advancing, right? They're getting better, just
Sure.
in general, from what I've seen now. And also, yes, there is this thing that AIs are soulless, but that's sort of my point. Human beings are very soulless as well. And, like that's what people underestimate,
Okay.
the exchangeability and soullessness of
Yeah.
human beings. So no, I mean I'm being sort of facetious, but only a little bit, kind of, because that's
I mean, the MMO writing is coming from somewhere already. And
Yeah,
That is,
you don't even know. Maybe that's been LLMs already, like since the last 2 WoW expansions or whatever.
maybe.
Yeah, don't you think? Like, wouldn't they use that?
I
never
wouldn't
thought
be
about
completely
it.
surprised.
Yeah.
At least for some of the parts. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll probably keep talking about AI next time, I'm sure. Like, so we don't have to shoot through every idea right now, because I did actually have this idea. I have something planned with Vincent. Like, probably next week, we'll like sort of fuck around with that stuff a little bit. Don't need to like spoil it too much now. Also, I have to find a way to do it in which it is still legal, so I don't get
I think
sued.
that's sort of the issue with AIs generally.
Yeah, there's like legality is an issue, like in general.
Yeah,
like many ethical questions in varied forms.
Isn't Brandon Sanderson suing the AI creators?
Is he?
Yeah, because I think he is.
He's really going for it, isn't he?
Working with other authors, because they basically say, hey, you're using our books to teach your AIs, and then they basically reuse our material.
He's doing that. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know if that's true, actually.
I mean, they totally are doing that, and I think like OpenAI and others also have come out and said, yes, it would be impossible to train AIs on like only copyright-free materials. And we're totally doing that, and it's free use, fair use, right? That's their statement. Because they're not, and there's some, like, of course, you have to ask an actual lawyer and stuff. What do I know? And also, copyright law in general is sort of weird and of a different era and a little bit bullshitty. But I can see their point, right? Because they're not actually copying the book.
Yeah.
But then now you have to get into the nitty gritty of like how
what does
works.
that mean exactly? And that's what
because
lawsuits are for, I guess.
because like sometimes they do copy, right? Like you at least sometimes it's not.
I mean, but so do other authors, right? Not one to
No,
one.
that's not what I mean. It's like you can get an LLM to verbatim spit out like the Lord of the Rings or whatever, just text from that book. And in that case, yes, they're sort of violating copyright law.
Sure.
But that's not consistent, and you actually can't force them to do that. It's sort of a bug or an accident that they sometimes spill out the training data, right? And there's like hacks to do that and stuff. But then I can see the copyright issue being a real one. But yeah, I don't know. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Also, apparently it's George R.R. Martin.
Interesting.
I found it.
Don Solarione, problem here is that nowadays literally everyone can train their own LLM. There is no way to control it all.
Yes, I know. Isn't that the beauty of it? You can see where I'm standing. I'm like completely sold for. I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords.
Yes. It's Piracy 2.0.
Yeah. The only thing I need now really is a bigger graphics card. This is like,
Yeah, server rack.
Yeah. Isn't that funny though? Like that used to be a sci-fi thing, right? I remember like this from like Stars Without Number, probably Star Trek, many like sci-fi shows, right? Where you talk about the AI core. And we gotta get the AI core and like need a bigger AI core. But that's real now. We've arrived in the future, except the AI core is just your fucking NVIDIA graphics card.
Yeah.
It's just your GPU. That's the AI
now
core.
we have huge server farms that are just doing AI.
Yeah, moving on from Bitcoin to like LMs. So you can play Mountain Blade more weirdly.
Yes,
Anyway.
finally.
Chaos Yoyo. Coincidentally, I'm currently drinking the new Coca-Cola product whose flavor is AI generated. Whatever that means. It kind of sucks, not gonna lie.
I can see where you're standing. Sort of, there's a theme developing here. Would you say that Coke tastes soulless to you?
Yeah, bland maybe another word.
But it's, I mean, sure, it's just being overhyped, right?
Is this... now I'm imagining Coca-Cola that is flavored like pickles.
Probably a thing in Japan. You know this, right? Like we've eaten these actually. Do you remember, Vincent? You can do this, dear viewers. Go on like Amazon or your favorite like ordering service that you want to use, and just look for Japanese.
Chaos Yoyo. It tastes like mango juice but with Diet Coke consistency.
Okay, that sounds kind of appealing. I don't know, but I'm a sucker for mangoes. I like mangoes.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound terrible.
I don't know if I would like carbonated mango juice though. If it's like
Also, this you talked about expectations. If I open a Coca-Cola and drink it and it tastes like mango,
yeah.
I would not continue that.
Yeah, because you were expecting Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to finish now the sentence I started earlier, though. Otherwise, people would, of course, be very upset. I'm sure. But what I
Yes.
was saying is, go and order Japanese Kit Kats, and that's fun. You can get a box of them because they come with like wild flavors, like really weird ones, like I don't know, melon. That was actually a good one, or like raspberry. That was also a very good one. And also, what was the horrible one, Vincent? I think black tea is bafflingly disgusting. Like, could not get it down. Disgusting. Like, honestly, a surprise.
Strawberry.
But that was a good
deep
one.
Matcha, orange.
Oh, are you Googling it right now?
Yeah, I'm just looking
Nice.
at some pictures.
Yes. We should do that again. That was fun. It came in a box.
Yeah,
Just eat Kit Kats like children.
it's wild.
Yeah.
Also very colorful.
Ah.
Keatasuyo, what about the ocean-flavored Japanese Kit Kat Lamau? Authentic dolphin taste.
Oceans. Yeah. Like,
Is
yeah.
it just salty? Or,
Isn't that like? Is that why the orcas have declared war on us? Because of the Kit Kats?
Like they endured everything else, but now that we're making Kit Kats out of them,
I haven't been reading about the orca wars, like the
The
orcas
attacks on
attacking
boats.
ships and boats and like teaching each other to attack ships.
Well, I think that's just one school of orcas. I think it's a school. Somewhere.
It's the martial arts school of orcas.
Yeah, basically. So,
What do you mean it's just one school of orcas?
No, it's. I mean, a school is like a school of fish.
I know what you mean, but still, like, explain. Like, was it restricted to one geographical location?
I think so.
The
Yeah.
attacks? Oh, okay.
Though I couldn't tell you where it actually was, but
I thought it's an ocean-wide phenomenon.
I don't think so. I think it's
Okay.
just a group of orcas that specifically learned or to attack ships or are very enraged. I don't know.
Yeah, I
don't
know. They're protecting the planet, Vincent. That's obviously what's happening. Like,
Sure.
nature is taking vengeance on us. I know this.
Can't fault them for it, right? The ocean is their territory.
The
not
ocean
ours.
is getting fucked, man. I don't know. Well, we'll probably figure out an AI to solve it at some point. I
Yeah,
don't know.
probably.
I like the Reddit comment that I read on the one that I read on the orca crisis, which was just yes, it just read.
It's like 6 orcas taking boats. There's an orca crisis, right?
Yeah, because you need
They are
headlines, right?
coming.
Everything is a fucking
They are
crisis.
coming and they'll get us. They're building mechs down there.
They might. Like, the oceans are deep, but the comment
Keatasuyo, I for one welcome our new orca overlord.
that could have been the comment, but it was not. The comment was, "Begun the orca wars have," which I enjoyed very much.
Orca Wars is so good.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we, in our new sort of amazing chat discussion segment, I feel like we cannot find a higher point than the Orca Wars, Vincent. So I would suggest, because you have to stop when you're at the top. Why don't we transition to playing Baldur's Gate?
That sounds.
Do you feel like that?
plan.
Might take a little break, 5 minutes or so, and then we'll actually get back to Butterscotch and her adventures. I'm actually quite excited about that. It's been a while, and I think I'll be. We just killed a dragon last time.
Yes,
It was
we have,
awesome.
like entirely new equipment for Karlach.
That's right.
Very excited to see how well she fares
Yes.
now against the Steel Guardians.
I know, and today we're gonna do the awful thing of doing the
Kill the
forge,
robots.
right? Yeah, which, yeah,
Talking about AIs.
We'll see.
Right?
yeah, very
Undertaking.
fitting. We'll see how that is. I guess we'll be back in 5 minutes. Do we restart the stream?
I don't think so.
Can you change the category?
Yes.
It also, I was thinking because it would automatically make the video into 2 segments, but I have no strong opinions. It was just an idea.
Yeah.
Because if people want to look at the Twitch account and they don't want to hear us talking, they can just click
What?
on.
don't want to hear us.
Or imagine it the other way. They only want to hear us talking and don't...
That I can imagine.
Yes. So they can click on the corresponding video.
Yeah, I mean, sure, we can restart the stream. We
might do it
eventually-
after the break.
Yeah, we might eventually figure out how to do this without restarting. But
Yeah, I just know that Twitch will automatically segment the video if you do this. So
Okay, let's take a break.
yeah, we'll be back in 5 minutes and then we'll play. See you then.
See you then.
At Some FM, we make radio that we want to listen to. That means we don't play commercials because we don't want to hear 3 minutes of annoying commercials every hour. But that means we have to rely on your support to keep us on the air. So go to somafm.com/support and find out how you can keep Some FM on the air and commercial free. Thanks.
And we're back.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Took me a while to
break.
find the right buttons there.
Yeah, it's been a while. We're a bit rusty.
Uh-huh.
But you just wait.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. You know how to do this. Turn off Soma.
I'm starting Baldur's Gate.
Do you want to turn off Soma?
Turning off Soma.
I mean, that would be funny to play Baldur's Gate and turn off the music and just listen to this.
Go.
Did you restart the stream?
No.
We can do that once we're in the game, I guess.
Yes.
Chaos Yoyo, will the beginning stream conversations archived as well? Everybody likes a little pregame fluff.
I'm glad you asked, and the answer is we have no idea because we literally just came up with doing this. And I don't know.
It's gonna be
Vincent.
somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, which is a lie. Vincent is lying to you because we said this like that. There's the archive now. What was it? He makes me play uncut. But that's not even a thing, because here's the thing, Winston and I are lazy, and we just don't do stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, literally all we need to do is put in my phone number, I think.
Yeah, because currently...
To get some behind-the-scenes info here.
YouTube doesn't allow you to upload videos that are
Chaos Yoyo, so HeMakesMePlay is uncut. Good to know.
Yeah, I totally mean my penis with that. That's completely what I was getting at. I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, but no, YouTube doesn't allow you to upload videos, I think, longer than 15 or 30 minutes without registering.
Oh, that's the problem. Interesting.
Phone, exactly. And I tried uploading some VOD. I just wouldn't let me. Or it would let me and then inform me, oh yeah, sorry, the video you uploaded for the last 4 hours.
Get fucked.
Yeah, we deleted that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Try
Thanks,
again next
YouTube.
time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but okay, I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
No promises here, but we'll put it somewhere as I think the end result.
Yeah. Exactly. And eventually
know.
this whole uncut thing will also...
It will work eventually, yeah. And then Vincent will have to do a lot of uploading. I guess I can help. We can do it together.
No,
But yeah, well, you and I will have to talk where we put that and where it ends up.
yeah. Let's restart the stream real quick.
All right, we'll be right back.
See you in a minute.